I don't think it's necessary at all. I think it's going to cause a lot of stress in between the communities. I know they passed something similar in Fremont as a start, and I've heard stories about people, immigrants already being harassed, Latino families feeling like they're not safe in their own home, and that's just a sentiment I don't want spread across the entire state. I don't think it's healthy, I don't think it's productive, and I don't think it's an environment that people want to raise their kids in either. My name's Melinda Freevert, and I'm a senior at Nebraska Wesleyan University, and originally I am from Omaha, Nebraska. Arizona's SB 1070 is a state law that they passed last year, or earlier in the year, that forces local law enforcement to ask anyone who they feel might be in the country illegally to present documentation that they are legal citizens. I know they also added an amendment that said there had to be, you couldn't do it based on racial profiling, but I still feel like asking for, or searching for reasonable suspicion that someone might be an illegal immigrant that's really hard to define, and how do you do that without judging somebody based on racial markers. I think we've always been a nation of immigrants. My family came shortly after the Civil War, around the turn of the century, but that doesn't make us any more entitled to living in this country than anybody else. This nation has always been receiving immigration populations from different countries. First it was from England and France and Spain, and then it was Italy and Ireland and Germany and Eastern Europe, and it keeps changing, and to expect everybody's identity in this country to remain the same for an extended period of time is ludicrous, because that's never who we've been, and I don't think it's who we'll ever become. The situation that's arisen in Arizona and the sentiments that SB 1070 has created is not something most Nebraskans want to see in their state. People are so proud to say that we have some of the friendliest football fans in the country, and so to think that people could be screaming outside the state capitol at each other because someone's causing such conflict and strife in our community, I don't think the sort of unresolvable conflict that laws like SB 1070 create is anything that Nebraskans find appealing. Our state motto is Nebraska, the good life. And I think that's a value that people here hold near and dear, that everybody is part of the good life and has the right to lead the good life. And I think passing a law like SB 1070 here completely shatters that potential, because people are up in arms and neighbors are fighting against their own neighbors and families are torn apart. And to me, that's not the definition of a good life. I don't think anybody would define that as a good life. I've joined a group of students who are working to build momentum among the population to fight the introduction of a law that would be like SB 1070 in our own state legislature. So right now I'm just trying to work with others and follow some really good leaders and fight back and be prepared for what will probably be a really hard fight in January when the legislature starts. But I trust a lot in the people I've been working with, and I've also met with some faith leaders who are working to push back and are planning some activism to fight. So I think a lot of people are getting mobilized, and I'm just trying to stay connected and coordinate some things. I'm better at coordination than leading the charge, I think. So.
Nice to have you.